when your name is Anderson in wrestling and you have the endorsement of so many horsemen from, again, working with Wyndham in the past, and then Arn Anderson wanting his son to work with you, that's got to feel good and feel very validating, because it speaks volume of how well you've carried that Anderson name.
I've tried. When I first got the Anderson name back in '93, the stipulation was, you can't job it out. It's respectful, the whole nine. And once I went to the power plant, I kind of got scared because I hadn't met Arn yet, nor Ole. I got permission through Gene to use it. And in ECW, I tried my best to uphold the Anderson name with a little bit of extreme added to it. And then once I got to meet Arn almost 2 years ago, I met him briefly with the ECW run at WWE, but not like I have now. And then once he's watched me work, been at ringside with me, and one day after a match tagging with Brock, this has been a year and a half ago in a 6-man, he come up to me and said, "It's an honor to bring ringside and watch you wrestle. I could have retired right then," because Arn Anderson telling me that. And then he told me not too long ago that, he's going to put Brock entrustment with me, because he can't be at every show. And as a father, he's very protective of Brock, as he should be. Every father would be in this, especially in this business. And then he's given me that to say, "Hey, I'm trusting Brock with you." And he asked me one day, he said, "What's your goal with tagging with Brock?" And I said, to give Brock all the knowledge I've learned as an Anderson, because as being an Anderson, the respect I have for Arn and Ole and Gene and that Anderson name, I want to make Brock the best Anderson possible when I pass that off to him, because now, it's a running joke now that I've officially become Ole. I don't think I'm quite bitter as Ole was, but Ole and I had a rough. We've met one time, and it was a rough encounter with Ole. This was early 2000s with that. But once he passed away, and once I learned that I was going to be tagging with Brock, I've gone back and watched Ole and how he mentored Arn, and how good Ole was. And it's just been the absolute honor in my 31-year career to say that Arn Anderson, is by my side with this.
Now, obviously, when you have that type of name, especially in the '90s, like there's going to be people that push back on it, like resistance and all that. How did you sort of deal with that? Because I mean, obviously, when I first saw you, I was like, "Oh, remember the Anderson wrestling family?" And then I saw, and I was like, "He wrestles like an Anderson." Like that.
Yeah.
That's how I felt watching it as a kid.
I've always got, "You're not a real Anderson." Always. I've gotten that. And I still get that to the day. And then my smart ass comeback is, "Well, none of us are ass."
Yeah.
In the end, yes, CW Anderson, Brock Anderson, Arn Anderson. Yes, we're Andersons, but in real life, I mean, come on. I understand. I've never wanted to walk in Arn Anderson's shoes or try to fill his shoes. I've looked at it that I've brought my own. So I wanted to do that, still keep the Anderson name respectful, but just take it a little different route. And I've told Brock several times, "I don't want you to be your dad. You got to find your own path." With his promos, we've talked about, he's trying to find, he doesn't have the gruffiness of his dad yet. And he's got to find his own way to do his promos, just like I did. I mean, the very first time I did a promo live, Paul threw me in front of the crowd at the ECW arena, and I was terrified, because I was terrified of talking on a microphone. But everybody, even people are going to compare us to the Four Horsemen now. People are comparing us to the Extreme Horsemen. And somebody said it's like when you get the Four Horsemen off Wish, calling us with the Rogue Horseman thing. And that's fine. We're going to get those, and it's okay. We're trying to make our own path, and Brock's trying to make his own path as well. Is he always going to be compared to his Arn? Absolutely. He's never going to outlive that. Am I always going to be compared to his Arn and things? That's fine. I will. I'll take that happily. So we're just trying to make our own path with it and do the best we can with this Rogue Horseman and the Anderson thing.